Louie C. the Mayor checking in. What is going on, my people? Thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. It's going to be a lovely podcast today. I got one of my favorite people in the building, Mr. Garcia, Jason Garcia. Jason, welcome to the program. We're going to get into the meats and potatoes here in a second. Thank you, FloridaKeysEnergy.com. If you're in an accident of any type, whether it be on a bicycle, moped, or car, you make sure you go to FloridaKeysEnergy.com. Them local boys at 302 Southern Street are going to take care of you. Also, hit the notifications button right here so you're notified when we're going to get the podcast on. And for those of y'all watching on YouTube, bam, hit the subscribe button right over here. We're going to make it happen. Also, the number one doctor in the world, Dr. B, back on the program Friday, Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon and Key Largo. And I just got the update today that COVID-19 testing is free across the board with insurance or without insurance. So you could go to any of the locations, Key West, Key West Marathon and Key Largo, and get tested at no charge. That's a wonderful thing. So basically all you gotta do is call and make the appointment, and the government came down with that. So that is absolutely fabulous. So anybody who wants to do a test now, you don't have to worry about it if you don't have the money to do it, because with insurance or without, you're good to go. So I'd like to welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jason Garcia. We go way back. That man is like me. We bleed. You see right here, red and gray. Garcia, what is going on, sir?
Thank you for having me, Lou. I appreciate the opportunity. My name's Jason Garcia, and I coach the Key West High School Lady Conchs softball team, who have been to the regional semifinals or finals all 4 years coaching.
Absolutely, absolutely. Real serious on that baseball and softball field. So, Jason, so people that are coming on here that don't know you from Adam, can you give them a little history about your tenure down here in Key West and let them know what you're all about?
Okay, I'm born and raised in Key West. Went away to play college a couple years. Baseball player as a catcher. Now came back to Key West when I got done with some classes in college. Didn't finish, but came back. Decided to get in coaching in 1992 through the pony leagues and all that stuff. And now I had the great opportunity to become a high school coach. Did baseball a couple years, JV program, and helped out Coach Ralph on the varsity level for a couple years, and now since 2017, I've been with the Lady Conchs softball.
Okay, so me and Jason, I know each other since he was a toddler, running around out there in good old, was it George Allen? George Allen, back in the day with JP Garcia. We used to be at it nonstop, 24/7, 365. And I actually had a chance to coach Jason with my alumni with St. Thomas University when I interned actually for the Conchs. So that was a great experience. We're going to touch on that. So Jason, as you know, you guys don't get paid enough money. It used to be 10 cents an hour. Now we're about 5 cents an hour. So I'm an advocate for teachers and coaches to get paid the most in the world. So anybody watching that can make that happen, please tell me how to do that, because I've been pushing it for a long time. Right now, like I said, make sure you guys hit the notification button right over here. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Let me get to it real quick. Here we go, Tangela. Here we go. So Miss Pamela, thank you. Pamela ain't missed a show. She like Pete Rose when she on the street. So look, I got my mask right here. Difficult to talk through the mask or whatever, so I'm definitely following, but it's hard for me to word on the podcast. You know I love you, so thank you for checking in, Miss Pamela. I seen good old boy, you know that boy Ron Bailey?
I know Mr. Bailey. Yes,
Bailey come in, that boy doing some things out there on the basketball court, out there coaching some young men, so that is absolutely great. We got Doris Arnold checking in. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. So Jason, over here, we keep it blood raw on the program. You know me. Me and you always keep it real, so we're going to get to the meats and potatoes of what's really going on. Thank you all for all coaches that coach all sports. And unfortunately, the kids took a hard blow this year with the COVID-19 and being out of school. So, all we got to do is fight through adversity like we do out there in them fields and be back stronger and bigger next year. And I know you're already brainstorming on how to get to that state championship level. So let me ask you a quick question. Difference in coaching boys and girls?
Difference in coaching boys and girls. I get that question a lot. And I also hear a lot, oh, you're just coaching girls. What's the big deal? I coach the girls as hard as I used to coach the boys. I put in the same preparation, Same defensive skills, offensive skills. We do it all the same. They put the hard work in. They do strength and conditioning for 3 to 4 months out of the year to get ready for a solid season. So pretty much the same. The only thing is the softball is definitely a faster game, a lot more bunting, a lot more hit and runs, a lot of small ball in softball. So you got to be really on your toes defensively.
Gotcha. Miss Martha, thank you for checking in. You know this character right here?
I know Mr. Valdez.
Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday. One of the best guys I know right there.
That boy's serious, straight out of class of 86. He's been at it for a long time. I think he got 30 plus years in the system.
30 years.
He's one of the youngest, if not the youngest VP hired in the history of we've been living Key West High School. So we miss that man because that man got a lot of knowledge. And you never know when that man could be back. You know, Michael Jordan came out of retirement. You never know.
He coached me in 1988 and won a state championship for the Pony Field.
Okay. So happy birthday, Chris. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Let me see what else we got out here. Let's see what that boy. Yeah, it is. He did big thing. Oh, you know this character over here? He been missing in action. Big Donnie Barrios.
Yep. Great guy right there.
Donnie
helped us out tremendously as a JV coach this year.
Donnie has got a good voice out there. That boy, natural on the press box. You know. A couple of little controls they got in place. I don't know who run DMC up there, but like I said, you're all right in my book. I think you did a fabulous job, especially for never doing it. But if you don't start, you don't finish.
Great
so
job.
Thank anybody that contributes. And this is the thing too, Jason. A lot of people don't want to accept help from people outside of the program, and not, let's say, in the school, whatever. I think you accept all the help you can because it's voluntary, and like I said, you don't have $1 million budget.
Absolutely, my arms are always open for you guys.
Yes, sir. So so now we got a little debate going on catching around the Conchs circles, and this has been going on for a long time. So they had a little video that resurfaced. You know a character named Tony Acosta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know another character, I'll put two characters, character named Louie Blanco?
Yes, I do.
State champ, 1984. So you a catcher. So from your perspective, let's just keep it blood raw. Don't sugarcoat it for the camera. Who is the better catcher, Louie Blanco or Tony Acosta? Straight up.
Hands down, Louie Blanco by far. Best catcher in Key West High School history.
Okay, so you heard it there, Jason. Tony Acosta, Bubba. I don't do you 0 for 2 now. The Fabio went on record that said that Louie got you, and now Jason went on record. So I don't know what we're gonna do, Bubba, but we'll keep trying to ask some more people. But right now, you definitely not winning the catcher of the decade or the century right now. Okay, so this is Robin. Thank you for that feedback there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, this has been a crazy year. This gentleman been in the program too, right? That boy Snow.
My assistant varsity coach, been with me every year since, I would say, 2008.
He's over there in the softball.
Softball now, yep.
Okay.
Yes,
thank you, Mr. Snow. That's one of my favorite dudes. Good person. Anybody that coach, I love that they put in their time. And for those of y'all, there's people that holler and scream. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you at umpires, and they have opinions on coaching. So what I say is, if you really want to get in the trenches, you get a little form, you fill it out, and basically you go be an umpire, because we always short umpire.
Absolutely.
And a coach, 5 cents an hour if you want to take that job for all the foolishness, nonsense, agitation you got to deal with. At the end of the day, what I would recommend is you put a player in a program. You have faith in the head coach, and you let the head coach do their job. If you do that, some people have unorthodox methods, like Big Ralph. All you gotta do is show your resume, whether you agree with it or don't. That man,
he's got it.
He's made some things happen or whatever. So I think this is the best way, because if you babysit kids, you ain't gonna babysit them the rest of your life. I think you'll be better off letting the coaches do what they need to do. If they make you run 42 laps, that's what you do.
Absolutely. I have no issue with that. Our girls are really, really head into all our practices. They're very respectful. They want to win, and that's the main thing about it. They enjoy winning. We make it fun.
Okay, then we got little Curtis Knowles.
Curtis Knowles, head JV coach for Lady Conchs softball, right there.
That's the JV. See, I didn't even know that.
Him and Donnie.
Okay, so let me tell you about Curtis now. Curtis used to be on the courts at HOB back in the day before some of y'all time. And Curtis, they misjudged him because he's short. But when that boy cock it back on the jump shot, he got you. You better put a man on him. So that man's serious. This is a prime example of people that have been in the system. Like Jason, you know, I've been in the system since I played all the way to Curry. And I try to go to all sports. You know, obviously my first love is Conchs baseball, but I try to go to all sports. And I haven't missed a state championship run in any sport but wrestling. That's the only thing that I haven't gone to on a state championship, and I'll get there. And that's another program, outstanding program with the wrestling, what they do in there. That's
Chaz doing a wonderful job.
Chaz Menace, I mean, that is absolutely fabulous what they've done there. You got to thank this man. So a lot of people that started playing baseball, a lot of them still out there even as adults all the way through or whatever. So we ask people all the time, man, if your kid plays, don't just disappear after 4 years. We like to see you out there because we need it all hands on board.
Give it back. Give it back.
So now we're going to go into a little story. Me and Jason was on the bus. Y'all know, you know a gentleman named Pedro Fraga?
Pedro Fraga.
Okay, you know a gentleman named Benny Lowe?
Benny Lowe, yes, I know him both.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of set up the story. You know where I'm going with this or whatever. So what had happened was Benny Lowe, he had a good day on the field. Bad day on discipline. And that boy hit 2 home runs one day. Right. So I stepped in the bus going about my business, and there was a conflict. Do you remember what happened, or you want me to?
You can remind me.
Okay,
I'm
so
pretty sure I remember that.
What had happened was I went on the bus and I asked Benny to slide over, you know, so I can sit. You know, I'm a coach. You know, I'm interning out there getting my last 9 credits. So for some reason, my man Benny, I love Benny, this is just a fun story or whatever. This man said he wasn't sliding over. So I said, my man, just go ahead and slide over before this thing turned into an issue. So when I went to sit down on the bus, you know, we ain't riding them nice buses, we ride them yellow school bird, you know, AC or nothing. When I went to sit down, that man went and kicked me. So I said, okay, we want to play kicking games or whatever. So I told Fraga, you know, right in front of everybody, and you guys was wound up. And Fraga took my side and see that, you know, you can't, you know, kick at a coach or whatever and back me 1,000,000% like a head coach do.
Yep.
Can you explain what happened to that Benny when he got to the field, how much laps he ran?
He ran and ran and ran until he couldn't run no more.
40 laps he got.
Yep.
40, not 20, not 32, 38, 40 laps. But, you know, this happens. I mean, I was wild and crazy too when I was out there. I had to be tamed down. You was kind of wild, but it was all good fun though.
Good fun.
It wasn't nothing bad or whatever. So you can't you will never forget the experiences of playing with that red and gray and the times you had.
Well, I tell you, I can never forget. It's always gonna be in my heart. One game that I remember that I'll never forget. And you were in the dugout with us. We went up to play Hoffman at Westminster Christian. They're #1 in the nation. They had A-Rod, Mickey Lopez, Mankiewicz, you know, 4 or 5 professional ball players, and we went out there and 10-run ruled them. After the game, Louie C. Rock rips all the banners down and started giving the coach Hoffman a hard time. But that's how we played. We played hard, and we had fun.
See, I don't even remember. I really took banners down.
Ripped the banners down.
Straight up,
ripped the banners down. They had hanging all over the field. They said "Road Warriors." #1 in the nation. You ripped them all down.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said this because now I'm gonna ask you to repeat this. So let's get this. Let's set it up. So you was going to play not the #1 team in the state, probably in the nation, right?
#1 team in the nation, Westminster Christian.
So you have no business on paper beating that team.
No business at all.
Okay, so then you go into the game. Not only do you win the game, but you 10-run rule that.
10-run ruled them. Mike Machado throws a 1-hitter. Jonathan Jolly and myself hit back-to-back home runs. Beat them 13-1.
Okay, so this brings me to my point. I don't give a damn if we're playing the Titans or whatever. Whoever we playing, we got to come to play. Yeah, we might take an ass whooping when we go play these teams that, you know, because there's a lot of recruiting in Miami or whatever. But I fully believe that you need to come play whoever you're playing, and if the competition is 10 times better than you, so be it. When you finish that game, you'll come out it better, and when you play your competition level, you're going to be well ahead of the game. I do not, and I'll say this for the record, I wouldn't give a damn if it's marbles, ping pong, wrestling, football, that we need to drop off out of a conference and not play for the state championship. This is my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I agree with that 100%. Play for the state championship. That's what you get in it for as a coach, me, and as a player, that's the dream. You know, I don't care. You know, I'll say more than half the teams we play are bigger than us physically, more athletic than us, but we're going to give them a game, and most of the time we're going to whip their butts.
Okay, so you heard it. This is Jason. I fully, just for the record, 1,000,000% endorse Jason Garcia as a coach. No doubt about it. I've been endorsing from day one because he got the passion to make it happen. See, the key is, back in the day, we was on a lot. You had to be on black and white. That's just the way we came up. It was black and white. These days, not so much black and white, because if you go strictly black and white, you will lose some kids or whatever. So basically, you got to get kids to buy into the program. Once they buy into the program, they're gonna knock walls down for you.
Absolutely.
And if you call it old school, if you can't relate to the new school, I believe you won't be successful out there with these kids, because it's just a new generation.
100% correct. You had a guest on last night, Shantae McLeod. Her daughter, Yahara, plays for me. She's going to be probably the only player, Key West high school history, in any sport probably, to be all-state all 4 years. Wow. And when you talk about knocking walls down, she'll run through the fence for you, get the ball, bring it back, a pack of popcorn back for you, and give the ball to the umpire.
Gotcha. And she's very humble.
Very humble.
Yes. No, that's outstanding. Thank you for coming on the show last night. All love here on the Key West Red and Gray. So Jason, me and Jason, we get right to it. So we was talking off camera that bottom line, anything but a state championship victory for the Conchs coming up this upcoming year is a disappointment for the program. Did I miss anything?
Nope, you hit the nail on the head. We should have won it this year if we didn't have this issue with the coronavirus. We would have won it this year. We had one team in front of us that we know we can beat, which was Archbishop McCarthy. Unfortunately, the virus came, so we had to be healthy. We didn't want nobody getting sick or anything. I understand why they canceled it.
Right.
Coming back this year, I lost three wonderful seniors, in Chloe Hardo, Gracie Wood, and Samantha Lopez. But I think we're going to be a very strong team. We're going to probably be one of the top teams in the state of Florida in any class this year. And if we don't win the state championship, I'm going to tell you now, it's on me as a coach, not the players.
Outstanding. This is what I'm talking about. We do remember the type. So you see right here, I have my shirt on today, represent them softball Conchs. So Jason, I had the great pleasure of being at a game. What was that? Was that last year or the year before?
Last year, 2018 regional semifinals.
Okay, so we had an AD. I'm not going to call no names. That was out there, and all I can say is one word: he's a little bit rough. And I told them at the baseball game, you can't take the heat. You got to get out the kitchen. So me and you have seen drastic finishes to games all our lives. So some people out there don't know that a freshman. What's the freshman's name that hit the home run?
Isabella Perez.
Okay, so they don't know a freshman could actually hit a home run, and we could win the game or whatever. So what I said is, because we already had some stuff going on with Gulliver Prep, we always do. And I said, listen, I told the administrator, I'm going to let you know, I don't know if I told you this part. I said, listen, this girl about to go yards here. You don't think it could happen. A lot of people don't think it happen. Well, when this girl go yards here, I'm telling you right now, I'm going all the way in. And when I say all the way in, is in this time, like from 0 to 10 is like a 2.5. So Jason, when that girl hit that home run, ain't nobody can stop me.
No.
And this is good fun. And this is what I think we need to get back to.
Absolutely. And it was well deserved. I'm sorry, the way that coach was acting, and we've had our issues for the last, me coaching for 4 years. A funny story is I think Jay Castillo got on with a single at the time, and Bella gets in the box and just looking at me, and I just tell her, swing out of your shoes, make something happen. And what'd she do? Came right out of her shoes and hit one over the fence to tie it up. We were down 8-1 that game. Ended up coming
8-1.
8-1, coming back winning the last 2 innings, 10-9.
Boy, when Stock Island start checking in here, Stock Island posse, boy, it's serious. We keep it at Blood Rock. See that man right there, DJ DOS out of New York City. This man right here, boy, make sure you know this guy, Jason Garcia. He like you know what this guy's profession is?
What's that?
NYPD SWAT. He the one that make it happen. NYPD is a little bit more complicated than the Key West PD. Both of them are tough job, but NYPD, we dealing with some things over there. And then also he's on the Thursday Night Live program. Every Thursday, WOW, doing the bass mix, DJ DOS. I love you, and had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. Let's party all the way through. This is how we do it. So, Jason, we got to give thanks where thanks is due. school board came through big.
Big force, absolutely.
So, like I said, you got to have representation out there. Jason, I know you've been working with this, a long time, and I know it's been frustrating and agitating, but I told you we will get this done. There was a plan issued, and we did not deviate from that plan. We got the Key West High School stadium done, Tommy Roberts, and then it was your time. So can you tell the people what is going on there with your facility, please?
Well, we're going to have a new state-of-the-art facility starting next year. I think they're going to be breaking ground the end of this month or early next month. Brand new turf field, asphalt parking lot, new concession stand, a new press box, new lighting, everything that we need to be one of the top programs. And they're doing a great job for us.
Okay, so somebody must have picked up that red phone that y'all got in the press. Look at here, Tony Acosta. Bubba, listen, my job is just keep it blood raw. I'm just reporting facts. I'm asking the catcher. I did it live out there with the Fat Bill. I know you disagree, but go ahead and vote for catchers right now. If you want to get to the meats and potato, is it Acosta or is it Blanco? We're gonna go like an election, like they do homecoming. This is how we're gonna do it. But right now, dog, I'm gonna give it to you raw. You heavily underdog right now. That's the way the ball bounced.
I think Tony was a great ball player.
State champ.
State champ, hands down. Better infielder, in my opinion, than he was a catcher.
Really?
So, yeah, he was a great infielder.
So that boy, talking about coaching, there's a lot of stress he put them coaches under.
Yes.
But he made it through. He had some issues going. This is, fighting adversity, but they didn't give him no breaks on that field. And, coaches save lives sometimes.
Absolutely. And he's a great example. He was on the field. He was a great kid. He worked his butt off. We all had our issues, but, he fought through it. He ended up being one of the great ball players that come out of Key West High School, but just not the best catcher.
I got you. Oh, and then Guzman, we gotta give Guzman a lot of respect. So yep. Guzman, now since you the man, you see what I'm saying? I mean, I appointed Joey Gandolf, official sports information director for Louie C, the mayor of entertainment, but everybody started with you. You taught me, so all due respect, I'm very humble. I'm not one of these guys. Pete Rose to me is the best. I don't care who did anything. I give respect where respect is due. So now, since you a boss, we're gonna have to boss up right now. So it's great with the opinion that Big Ralphie is the number one. Now I have to put you on the spot.
I never seen him. I didn't get to watch with Big Ralph catch, so I can't.
But ready? What are we gonna do? We're gonna ask this man right now.
Okay.
This is great. You pick Big Ralph. Now the question for today is, we're going to exclude Big Ralph out of the equation. I need your vote right here on camera. Is it going to be Blanco? Is it going to be Acosta? You're in a tough spot right now.
But isn't Guzman and Costa family?
We're going to see, Guzman. We're going to see what you do now. Don't be unbiased. Just call them like you see them. You know what I'm saying? With being a boss, Jason, you got to hurt feelings sometimes. But we don't know which way you're going to go. Like, let's talk about Big Gandalf. You ain't think Gandalf was going to pick Big Ralph. I bet everything on the house he was going to play Blanco.
One of his players, one of the guys he played with.
Gotcha. So let me ask you a question. What other, I know you mentioned some teammates out there. What other teammates you want to give a shout out to that played with you? Because I know Jolly was no joke out there. You had a lot of good players out there in your day.
That's a good segue coming from Acosta to Jonathan Jolly. They're pretty much the same mold.
Gotcha.
Both great ball players, but they like to have fun. Listen, Mike Machad, lights out pitching. Willie Zerpa, Benny Loaf, before mentioned.
Yeah. Them boys were serious out there.
They were serious that year.
So
JP Garcia.
There it is.
Yep.
So Tony, I had to be the bearer of bad news, but right now you 3-0. You ain't got one pick, Bubba. I know the red phones, them red phones lighting up right now. They already done called Blanco, Gandalf on this. You know what I'm saying? You got to see what's going on. So thank y'all, for joining in the podcast. Please hit the notification buttons right over here, watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. So Jason, I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about another rivalry because we at Gulliver Prep, we 1,000,000%, but we all know what it is. What's another rivalry that we've been going at it? I hate to use this term, but like Bloods and Crips, we real serious about it.
When I was a player or now?
Both. And if you have, I know the school, but any other rivalries that you could mention, either way, when you was playing or now.
Of course, Pace and Westminster when I was playing. We played them every year. Coach Frago always put a hard schedule, so we were ready for districts. And you know, we played some great games against them, and most of the time we came out ahead. You know, as a coach, you know, Oxbridge Academy, one of the top teams in the state. We play a lot.
Where are they from?
They're from West Palm Beach area.
Gotcha.
You know, they came down in 2017, ranked number 3 in the state, and we beat them 2 games in a row. That put us on the map that year. We ended up going 19-1 that year. And I would say, I don't want to say Marathon's a rivalry because, you know, right now we have our way with them. You know, but I enjoy playing Kevin's team. He's always, you know, got his team ready to play. I like to go with Archbishop McCarthy. You know.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm gonna go way back here. We absolutely do not like to this day pace with a passion. You know, we still at it. And you know a guy named Alex Fernandez?
Yes, I do know Alex Fernandez.
Okay, so that boy Alex Fernandez in 1985 in the district at Miami-Dade went 4 for 4 as a freshman. We took an ass whipping, 11-1 out there. We did beat them at home 7-5. So this is how crucial things used to be back in the day. So what happened is you hit many infields, you took many infields, right? So when Coach Fraga went out there and started the infield, you could not hear anything that he said. This was on infield, let alone the game or whatever.
Free game.
So we got a good old boy named Louie Blanco. You know, he liked to get it in with the crowd. So there's a little chant that we do. So the pitcher's warming up. We getting ready to go in the first inning. And pitcher throws the ball. We got that whoop. And then you throw the catcher. You know, throw it. Woo. Whoop. Woo. So Blanco decides that on one of those chants, you know, with pace, he gonna fake the throw and turn around and go right to the stands with that ball. When he did that, it felt like he was in the Orange Bowl. And then the main thing, guess what happened? They cut transmission off to the radio station completely, cut the wire, so there was no transmission back to Key West, and the game was not heard on the radio. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
So this is how serious we took stuff. So to me, I'm gonna say it like this, and I think coaches on the same page. I love you. When we're on that field in them lines, please don't come around me, say nothing to me or whatever. Most of the time after the game, we'll call a little truce. Some teams we still haven't called a truce with them because it's just not possible or whatever. But we like to be good, you know, sportsmanship. Now, Gulliver Prep, I was treated very good when I went out for the basketball district by Ray Allen, NBA superstar that played for the Heat. He got game, was in that motion picture, and that man spent about 25-30 minutes breaking down what he think we need to do to go to the next level. That was very nice of him. And a new AD, I'm not sure the gentleman's name, but it was very nice to us and completely different approach than the last AD. So, you know, I said, okay, now we call the truce with y'all based on that situation. But like I said, you know, we got to go hard all the time. And like you said, I'm glad you got this mentality as far as the state championship. So what are we doing anything now, or we can't do anything as far as workouts?
Workouts, I can start here pretty soon. I'm waiting to get the weight room available. And Sarah's going to give us that okay when they're allowed to open up the schools for us to do that. And we're going to start our weight room and our throwing program here soon. I got a lot of girls playing travel ball right now, so they're in it. You know, they're doing what they got to do. But as a whole, we're probably going to start first week of July, lifting weights and getting stronger.
And just to basically, you know, talk about this point one more time, because I think that kids with a mentality on the field, sometimes you don't know how big things that you accomplish are until you actually do them. Because kids go out there, if they got the heart, you could come out with a victory against anybody.
Absolutely.
So what do you say to people is Key West High School has one high school, the nearest one is an hour away. But yet we have to play competition with all other high schools, and some of them are legally allowed to recruit the best players in the state. And therefore, this is why we cannot compete. Can you elaborate on this?
For me, that's not an excuse. You know, you're going to put your cleats on, you're going to go out there and give your hardest. You know, Coach Eric and I, we always say it, you know, we'll accept the physical error, but the mental errors don't, you know, that we're not going to accept. And if we're mentally better than those teams, we will compete. You know, you called it truce with Gulliver. Unfortunately, I have not.
I figured you would.
It's not going to happen. The next time they come down, we're going to 10-run rule them, right, and send them back to Gulliver. You know, that 3-hour ride, they always give us a hard time about driving up. They're going to enjoy it with their heads down.
Yep. And basically, I'm with you. And like I said, I ain't gonna talk to none of them during the game, and I'll root for the team and whatever means necessary, because the crowd is a 10 person on that field.
Absolutely.
So, and we at home, we should never be intimidated ever at home. When you come out here, back in the day, talking to your point, in '86 basketball, Carroll City, Edison, Miami High, all those teams we beat right at home. We only lost one game at home. Why? Because we had 1,000 screaming maniacs. We was Duke, and we made it happen. So I think the school spirit needs to go to a whole different level. And I know we got a principal coming in, Ms. McPherson, and I think we head in that direction, because you can't have enough fans. And how do you get fans? You must win games.
Absolutely. A little side note: every time we go away to play one of the rivalries, Pace, Gulliver, they schedule the game right when school gets out. So their whole student body's out there yelling and screaming outside the fence, giving us a hard time, getting on our outfielders, which, hey, I'm fine with that, because when you come to Key West, the same thing's going to happen. We're going to give you what you gave us.
And Coach, is your philosophy, if you go to play a team, whether it be Kentucky, if we go into Miami, West Palm Beach in a tournament, right? And let's say the fans are hostile. And when I say hostile, in a good fashion, that they just basically going all in and cheering and making it difficult for the opposing team. Do you welcome that, or do you have a problem with fans that are hostile?
No problem at all with hostile fans. That's part of the game. That's really part of the game. My issue is with coaches or other teams getting in my girls' heads. Disrespectfully.
Gotcha.
They can
out of line.
Out of line. That's the only issue I got. Anybody else, that's fine. Yell, scream all you want, and I'll tell them, like I tell the girls, we're gonna step on your throat and cut the air supply off, put you to sleep.
Okay, and this is what we need to do. And basically, correct me if I'm wrong, you're out to go play the game and make believe there's nobody out there, and don't listen to what they tell, and definitely don't engage. Because can you explain to them when I have my crew at a game? And we talk to the trainer, we talk to the bat boy, we talk to the players or whatever, and you engage back with us, you're pretty much done for the rest of the day.
You're taking yourself out of the game. You're done. You're done. Mentally, you're done.
Tony came on here looking. He got some nice words for you.
Tony's my boy. Tony's my boy. I always love Tony.
Tony, when you come in, I'm gonna have, here's the thing though. I'm not opposed to having you and Blanco at the same goddamn time on the podcast. And we're gonna get security. We're gonna make sure everything's good, and we'll do WWE in here if we got to. We're gonna get to the meats and potatoes. So thank you all. Look, Kenny Brogle came through.
That's my boy there.
That's the man. Oh Lord, Mikey Story. He's the king of right field.
He's a beauty right there.
Yeah, that's a
bird's nest.
Mikey Story, boy, you've been at it for a while. That boy definitely bleed red and gray. Tony for defense, but Blanco had a can.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Blanco, when it came to game time, it was game time. That man ain't like the rapper Bone Crusher. I guarantee you that man wasn't scared. He don't care what it is. He called a 2-week suspension one time.
I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Did he take his mask off?
The mask? Oh yeah, no, he definitely. I wasn't at the game, but basically what happened is the batter, left-handed batter, stepped backwards and hit Blanco in his helmet, catcher's helmet, and basically he was dazed for a couple of innings. So the dugout says, Blanco, you about as soft as a pretzel. So that man don't need something to get boosted up. He come on a V8 engine already. So what happened is that man was throwing the ball back and forth, and the umpire unfortunately took a little break to get some water by the fence. So he took the whole mask and hit the kid that hit him right in the middle of the game over his head and hit him with an uppercut like Muhammad Ali. And then that man was out for the count. 2-week suspension. Frago was attending another business. Mockingbird was there, and then they caught 2 weeks. You do that now, you might not see it for 4 years.
You ain't come back in. You're gonna go to jail.
Hey, these things happen sometimes. I don't condone no fighting or nothing like that. But this is just a historic story. So that any time, I'll be honest with y'all. Like, I think it's best to pick people that you've seen play, because we ain't see Boog Powell play. We know his history.
Exactly.
But we know you can't debate a major leaguer playing or whatever. So I got to give it to Blanco. That man is dead serious. When it game time, that man ain't scared. And a lot of the times that we play when I was underclassmen, you know, we have the underclassmen mixed up, and I'll be on Blanco's team. We playing those games, Jason, and you could relate to this, like it's the World Series.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? We're playing prep league like it's a World Series. And to be honest with you, you coaches wouldn't have to deal with somebody that's a problem, because the players will deal with it. You won't even know about it. And we come to play out there, man. And then me and you still, and me still, if we lose a game, we might not want to talk to somebody for 4 days, especially a critical game.
Absolutely. You asked those guys I mentioned, teammates. You know, I wasn't the best catcher, but I was the hardest player on that field, and I hate to lose. Like you said, you hate to lose in ping pong. If we're playing baseball, we're going to fight, we're going to win.
Yeah, so Victor Gonzalez, that's a character right there too. I was there for that game. Alex was freshman that year. Saw him in Cape Coral, Florida years ago. He had a team in the tournament up there. I asked him about that. He said he never lost to Key West. Okay. All right, well, let me be clear, Alex Fernandez. You tell him Louie C., the mayor from Key West, reaching out to you. You got your ass whooped 7-5, and we put that third base line on them fans. Boy, you were scared. But, hey, you made it to the major leagues, all respect. And then we took an ass whooping when we went up there in Miami-Dade. And I believe, I'm not sure if they went all the way to the state championship. But in those days, once you came out of district, you crushing everybody.
Yeah, because that was the strongest district.
And another thing, Jason, I can't remember the game, but we beat Alex Fernandez. Was it MacArthur?
Which MacArthur, yeah.
He had a number ranked team nationwide, too. He took an ass whipping that day, too. Why? Because we wasn't scared like Bone Crusher. So thank you, Victor, for that. Shout out to Marathon. There he is, Blanco across the board. Shantae, thank you.
Blanco played the shortstop.
Yeah. Blanco was serious on that field. No, that's a fact.
You got that one, Tony.
Yeah, Tony done pulled up. You know, usually you got to go through the FAA to get a fly helicopter. Tony said he don't give a damn about the feds, and he landed out there due to the displeasure of Mr. Valdez. He was not happy, but he made it happen. Listen, come on the podcast. Blanco, I'm inviting you on the podcast, and we're going to get this thing straight. Thank you all for tuning in. Jason, 1,000,000%, I got your back. I'll be there. I want to get a schedule this year. I want to go to more games. And please keep doing what you're doing. I love you. And thank you for your service, for youth, for all this time. And please keep at it. Anything we could do as friends of the program on any situation you need, we're there for you.
Thank you. And thank all you guys out there for the support for the Lady Conchs.
Yes, thank you, FloridaKeysInjury.com. Lawyer for all accidents. If you got an accident on a bicycle, moped, or car, make sure you call them boys at FloridaKeysInjury.com. And also Dr. B, Dr. Burrows, the #1 doctor in the world. Make sure you check them out at Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon in Key Largo. Be on the program on Friday. It's still going on. Shane Arnold, I see you. They said it's dangerous on the softball. Johnny Sears, thank you, sir, for coming in. We love y'all. Stay out of trouble. Me and Jason, we bleed that red and gray.
Yes, sir.
Ha!